So my name is Dr. Caroline Stites. My full intention is to give you some really great, valuable information and kind of an oversight and a bird's eye view of a lot of things. So regeneration and regenerative medicine is one of my favorite things, and so is longevity, especially the older I get, turning 59 this year. And my business partner, he is Exhibit A, he is 80. So we are all about regenerative solutions. And honestly, I think this is the silver lining that came out of the pandemic, is all of these disciplines, traditional medicine, naturopathic medicine, even Eastern medicine, what we're seeing is a ton of patients that need a lot of illnesses managed more than ever before. And so people are starting to integrate. We went to the A4M conference, and I was, there's 4,500 medical practitioners there. And I was so excited that they are actually adding in regenerative medicine, because it's not enough to just treat the illness. You actually have to regenerate the system so that people can get better and have a better quality of life. So this is kind of my path. I started in traditional medicine while I was born into it, actually. The women in my family were medical doctors in the 50s, kind of pioneers at that point. None of the men, they were attorneys and farmers. But it worked. So being, raised in it, I was kind of surrounded by it. My mom actually taught medical school at Loma Linda. So that was another aspect. She went into preventative medicine because apparently when she got into her internship, she found out she could not stand the sight of blood. So she had to make a hard right and go into teaching. But it worked out well for her. She turned out to be an amazing teacher. But by the time I was 5 years old, all I wanted to do is be a doctor. I never changed my tune. All the other kids were, I want to be a policeman, a fireman, a lawyer, whatever it was, and it changed and it changed and it changed, and mine never did. And I think because I had these women on such a high pedestal, I was in awe of what they did. It just seemed like they were saving the world. So by the time I was 12, I was this tall. I grew really fast. Everybody thought I was going to turn into a giant, but then I stopped. And after my 12th birthday, my aunt, she was an amazing physician in a smaller town. She says, "Hey, do you want to see a surgery?" And I'm like, yes, yes, yes. So the next day she took me in to observe a colon resection of the ascending colon in a patient. And I thought it was fascinating, absolutely fascinating. I thought, wow, this is it. If you can surgically remove cancer in a part of the body, that person is going to live happy and healthy for the rest of their life. Well, the problem is we're the petri dish. So whatever created it in the first place, you have to change that environment and regenerate the body. So I took a hard right and went into naturopathic medicine after a conversation I had with my aunt. And I told her we're cutting out all these tumors and doing all these surgical procedures, and then we're prescribing medications, and they have so many side effects, we're having to prescribe more. We're kind of creating chemical soup in the body. And she said, those are the only tools we're given in traditional medicine. So I went into naturopathic medicine. Thought, okay, I'm going to find other answers here for regenerating health. And I really wanted a wellness system because I believe we were designed to self-heal. And I get done with that. I went back and got my master's in nutrition because it's so important. If you're missing a nutrient, it can really wreak havoc in the body. Get into practice, and here I'm prescribing handfuls of natural supplements to people. 3 times a day, this is your handful, this is your handful, this is your handful. And it was just too much, and it seemed like I was missing something. Something was missing in the whole thing. So I started studying Eastern medicine, and I thought it was really, really fascinating that we're an energy system. And it started shifting my thinking. And then I started studying frequency medicine. And there's so much stuff out there. Hilda Clark-Rife, a lot of people are familiar with their work. So I started integrating some of those things into my practice. And that's when things really started to shift. So frequency medicine kind of became my passion. So we have added to everything that we do. This machine on the far left here is the VibraGenix. There's over 1,000 frequency formulas in it. It's actually put together with sound coils or voice coils, so you're actually moving in a sine wave. There's no mechanical action at all. So if you do live blood cell analysis before and after mechanical and before and after sound vibration, there's no change with mechanical vibration, but a massive increase in the cell voltage on sound vibration. We pair it with oxygen, and when you're stimulating 100 trillion cells, perfect time to bring in more oxygen. We use brain tap. We use shiatsu massage chairs just to relieve stress in people. We have a medical grade red bed that we use. And we also have a medical grade panel so that people can take it home or work on specific parts of their body. Red bed is class 2 FDA for wound healing. So it does a lot of other things, though. It helps reboot the mitochondria. It really helps produce collagen and elastin. Ours has the head panel, so it works on cognitive function as well, works on pain, works on weight loss. And then we brought in EMS, so electrical magnetic stim is actually Carl's baby. He owns a medical electronics company, and they first came out with that product in the 80s. And they used it for rebuilding cartilage, relieving pain, all of that. Well, they couldn't get FDA approval for that, so they just kind of let their patents expire, and now everybody is using it for body slimming, toning. It puts current into the muscles, makes them contract, but really works for a lot of other things as well. We finally made a med bed. We've been asked for a med bed for a very long time, so we put all of our frequency medicine technology into that bed. We can pair that with other things then, like the emerald green laser. That is FDA class 2 approved for subcutaneous fat loss. And it only has one side effect, and that's that it tightens skin. So I know, it's exactly what you need. So I really like that product. We do PEMF. This is unique in that it has 7 of the semi-precious crystals that correlate with the chakras. It has infrared, and it has some photon therapy, but really not effective compared to the red bed. You really have to get strong red lights to have a really strong measurable effect. On the far right here is another EMS unit. It has 5 paddles. It also has a seat. So using it for incontinence and pairing it with our incontinence frequencies and our sound frequency solutions. So how did I get here? In my study of frequency medicine, Eastern medicine, I came to realize in the medical world, we all focus on the meat sack, the bones, the muscles, everything that's going on in the body. And then we focus on the cells and cellular health. While that's important, there's so much more to it. So our basic building block down here in the corner is your atom. So protons, neutrons at the center with electrons spinning at the speed of light. And it's 99.99999% space. So that basic building block is really what we need to be addressing to make a massive shift in the body. I think Nikola Tesla was way ahead of his time. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And it's not just any vibration. It has to be the right kind of vibration, the right kind of frequencies. So this is actually, quantum physicists have determined that this is the actual toroidal field that goes around every living thing, not just humans, but animals. They say there's even one around the earth. And this toroidal field is constantly moving, and we're exchanging information through this toroidal field. We are constantly emitting like emotional energy, information, mental energy, subtle energy. All of that gets sent out into our field. Our field extends way out past our body. And it's not just the physical layer. You have the emotional, mental, spiritual layer. And there's another column of energy that comes from source into the earth and back. And those all go through your chakras. Now, Eastern medicine, a lot of people think it's a little woo-woo, a little out there. But the more I studied it, and it's so much older than Western medicine, there's so much to it. There's so much to it. Chakra means wheel. And the important part is that wheel goes right through the body. So where it's going up and down the spine, it's going right through the spinal cord. It's going right through all those nerves that go to all those organs that are in that section of the spinal cord. Everything talks to each other through the spinal cord. So if you have an energy block in one of those chakras, it leads to all kinds of chronic problems. So mental, emotional, spiritual, all of those. And if you can clear the trauma out of that area, the body can start healing itself. So that's one thing I've integrated into the VibraGenix and all our sound frequency technology. It's really important to me to get those clear and functioning and flowing. We find, a lot of people find that with people with breast cancer, heart problems, their heart chakra is blocked. So according to Eastern medicine, all disorder, dysfunction, and disease is due to blocked energy in the body. So we're really going from a different aspect. Instead of using, different supplements or whatever we're doing to treat the body, we're trying to clear the trauma. We're trying to move everything that is standing in the way of the body healing itself. So up here on the upper corner, this is how we affect each other. So when we're around each other, we're in somebody else's field. This is healthy relationships, toxic relationships, work environments. This is everything you can think of. So it's something, I hope you embed that in your mind to be really consciously aware of. I went to Dallas a couple years ago, and Dr. Fab Mancini interviewed me, and I thought I would play that for you. Yes.
What was it about those frequencies that you felt could actually have an impact on the health of someone?
Well, my logical mind told me that if we are frequency and an energy system, why aren't we using that as the medicine to treat people? And I found numerous frequencies, 80 years worth of frequencies, and started implementing them into my practice, and it really made a huge difference. So it led me to the next step of finally creating the most comprehensive wellness system that there is.
Now, the VibraGenix machine, and I'm your biggest client, your biggest fan out there, because just standing in this unit, it changes your whole body.
It does.
Not only physically, but emotionally and spiritually, because you feel the changes.
Yes.
And you understand that science. But right now, when we're looking at VibraGenix, right, you see this beautiful technology, and it looks like something from Star Trek. It just looks amazing. And then you get on it, and all of a sudden you really understand that you have sound that has frequencies, you have vibrations that has frequencies. You see a monitor that gives you all these amazing opportunities to select the things you want to work on.
So he and Karen have one in their home. They use it every day. Karen she says she's addicted. She actually uses it more than I do, like 3 times a day. Which is great. There's endless options of what you can work on. You can work on weight loss. You can work on your emotional health. You can work on trauma clearing, pain, if your immune system's down, whatever it is. And we have the ability to even import all the Hilda Clark frequencies and convert them into sound. And sound is something I love the most because you're 70% water, and sound travels 5 times faster through water. So what you're doing is literally affecting every cell in your body with these amazing frequencies, and the body absolutely embraces it. I call it music for your cells because the body loves it. So I was down at A4M, like I mentioned, and with all these practitioners, these medical practitioners, most of them traditional medicine, that I was speaking with, asking them, okay, what are the things that you're up against right now that you don't really have a good solution for? And this was kind of their list. Lymphedema has gotten to be a bigger and bigger issue. I think probably because during the pandemic, people were even more sedentary than normal. And I don't know if you understand the lymphatic system, but it doesn't have a pump. It relies on one-way valves and muscle action. So they have a hard time with that. You can do lymphatic massage, you can do compression, but having something, and our technology gets down into that 4, 5, and 6 hertz low frequency range that actually allows the lymph to be thrown up, the one-way valve to close, and move on through your body. So we have great technology to address that. As far as for weight loss, I've done weight loss studies. We've had amazing results with it. We not only have the fact that when you stand on the machine, you're getting an hour of cardio in 10 minutes passively because it's contracting all your muscles. It's actually moving everything just as much as if you did an hour-long walk. So getting people on it for 20 minutes, it's just that thing alone with the exercise component. We see some dramatic weight loss, especially with people that are sedentary. Now, with people that do everything right, and my business partner's wife, Linda, she was one of those people. She ate right, she exercised 4 times a week, and she still couldn't lose weight. She was a size 12 to 14, depending on the brand. And she started using the VibraGenix equipment, and it took 6 months because she'd been at that weight for a long time. But it took 6 months, and then she went to her correct weight, and she's a size 6'8" now, and has been for the last 10 years. And I think that's one of the beauties of it. Putting the regenerative solutions together, we get much faster results if you can use the other modalities. So that speeds up the process in people that are kind of stuck. Anti-aging, really big thing. Longevity, really big thing. It's not just the quantity of your life, it is the quality. And a lot of us have worked so hard for so many years to get where we are, and we're kind of cheating our health to gain wealth. And then we get to the point where we can actually retire, and we've given up a lot of our health, and we have to go back and regenerate that. People trade their wealth for health, they say at the end, and I know that longevity is one of the biggest things, movements going forward. Also, regenerative centers. That was the #1 franchise globally in 2023. Everybody's waking up to this whole movement and what we actually need to heal. Long haul COVID is another thing that physicians said they're having a tremendous time dealing with. And a lot of that is because when you get COVID, it shuts down your mitochondria. The body has a really hard time healing itself after that. Also, people that have been immunized, traditional medicine has found out that it actually knocks out your immune system. So then they have their patients come back in and they've got bronchitis or pneumonia. And even with the normal rounds of antibiotics, they can't get them back on their feet. And people just continue to decline. So using regenerative medicine and regenerative systems together, you can reboot the mitochondria, get the body functioning well, and starting to heal itself again. We have a great protocol put together that knocks out all of those nasty symptoms. It just seemed to go on and on and on. We actually had a lady that, she's 82, and she got COVID a couple of years ago, Patty, and she'd been to 12 doctors, 12, and they couldn't find anything wrong with her, but she could hardly breathe. And they'd done tons and tons of studies. She finally got referred to me because she had given up. She just said, okay, I'm making my peace with God. Told her husband, we got to get our affairs in order. I'm not going to be here by Christmas, which makes me sad. But anyway, she lived not too far away from somebody that had a VibraGenix. They called me for the protocol. We got her on it. Within 4 days, she was walking normally, not shuffling her feet. She could breathe. She said it just took away the cloud that was in her lungs because we went after the root of the problem. So finding the root of the problem and trusting that at the same time you're addressing the symptoms is really magic, especially if you have the right tools. Brain recovery is another thing they're struggling with. We have a lot of good programs for that. Joint and back pain. We have a physician in town actually we haven't even met him, and he's referring all his patients that he doesn't know what to do with their pain into our regenerative center because we can get rid of it in a very short period of time. Especially if it's trauma blocked, that's when it seems like a miracle because you move the trauma and then they're pain-free, sometimes the next day, sometimes it takes 3 sessions, whatever it is, that trauma block just goes away and years of pain. Stroke recovery, that's another thing they're struggling with. I have my own little personal story. No matter how well you eat, doing all the right things, if you allow too much emotional stress in your life for an extended period of time, it can lead to things like TIAs and strokes. And I had 2 TIAs, one in September, one in October last year. During the first one, I lost my speech in both, but I didn't really know what frequency protocol other than stroke recovery. You can combine up to 5 frequencies, and when you get that, it's like booting up sections of an orchestra. It's total harmonics, and that's when you get the really rapid healing. By the time I had the second one, I was on the machine for an hour and 20 minutes laying down. I had 0 symptoms by the time I got up, 0. And that one was actually a worse one. So really important to just reboot the system. It really can be done. Emotional health, there's a emotional health tsunami since COVID for all kinds of reasons. And we have lots of frequency protocols, so you don't have to do pharmaceuticals to lift that cloud of depression, get rid of the anxiety, ADHD, whatever you're struggling with. Urological issues is another thing. Incontinence is a big one. So traditional medicine really doesn't have any answers. I mean, it's been really great for Depend sales, but they don't have any true answers besides a medication that's $500 a month. It dries you out, and it doesn't take the incontinence away. So we have phenomenal frequencies in our technology that take it away, and then we're actually stacking that with a modality of the EMS seat. So I'm trying to save you some time here, Carl. So DNA repair, those frequencies are in the machine. repairing all that mitochondrial damage. This is an amazing setup to do that. And then with neuropathy and nerve disorders, we're seeing a lot of that. So using the red light on the feet, using EMS, and using our frequencies in our machine, we're making some great headway in resolving that with people. So this is really the superstar in the show to me, but it's my baby. It's my life's work, my technology. That's all in there. I couldn't have built it without Carl. With all his manufacturing experience, that's why we decided to go into business together, because I needed somebody to make it buildable. So this is the sound frequency only machine, pure sound vibration, so that sine wave, perfectly comfortable for the body, doesn't cause any other problems in the body, so no back problems or anything else, which mechanical vibration can exacerbate. There's over 1,000 Rife frequency formulas, and they're all converted into sound. There's DNA repair, there's Eastern medicine. So we not only have the solfeggios, which are the ancient tones, but we have all of the chakra clearing and 2 different programs for that. We have brain balancing, so it's not a binaural beat, it's a trinaural beat, because they've discovered that there's actually a tone for the midbrain or base brain, and then we pair that with scalar waves, and you get a much more rapid response. Scalar waves are amazing. They are one of the fastest ways to increase your cell voltage and get the body to heal itself. Tesla knew what he was doing when he stumbled onto a few things. So what we've been using this for, it's really, really versatile in what it can do. So the #1 prescription in the United States is antidepressants and anti-anxiety medicine. So the frequencies do a really good job. We have anxiety, depression, things like that, of just kind of lifting that cloud and getting people back into a functional life. Our pain relief systems are amazing. So what I find is these kind of go hand in hand. If you're in pain, you usually have depression. So we usually treat people for both. Painkillers are #2. But you know, Ozempic might have passed them both. I don't know. That's been a huge trend in pharmacy. Anti-aging, we all want to get younger, especially me. And being able to regenerate cells, but healthy cells. So we're constantly replicating cells, right? Every 48 hours, you have new rods and cones in your eyes. Every 2 years, you have a new liver. So depending on the health of your cell and the vibratory level or cell voltage in your cell, you either create a younger cell, a healthier cell, or an older and sicker cell. So that's why we use this technology for the anti-aging longevity factor. And on the cell voltage, most of you might be familiar with Otto Warburg's work. He won a Nobel Prize for his work on cell voltage. And he started with cancer patients. And he said that cancer patients have a cell voltage of -15 to -20 millivolts, which is really low. There's an overall negative surface area on a cell. So the higher the number, even though it says negative, is better. And he said that people that get all the colds and flus that come along, they actually have a cell voltage usually around -35 millivolts. Most of us, -50 millivolts, we're doing okay, but you know, toxins in the environment, lifestyle, all that kind of bring it down. But he said if you can get it to -70 to -90 millivolts, the body spontaneously heals itself. So that's essentially what we're doing with regenerative medicine. We're giving the body the tools it needs to regenerate itself. Weight loss, we talked about that a little bit already. Lymphatic drainage, I mean, if you don't understand the whole picture of the lymphatic system, you know, there's up to 4 lymphatic vessels that parallel all the veins and arteries in your system. So they're constantly working like a vacuum cleaner. So traditional medicine has looked at this as being the underlying cause of all disease for a long time, but not knowing or not having or not implementing a solution to deal with it. Super important to get that lymph moving, and this is the best thing I've ever seen for lymphatic movement. Scalar wave technology, that's in there. Athletes love this technology. If you're dealing with like collegiate athletes, recovery is really important, but they're okay to be like 90-95% of whole. If you're dealing with Olympic athletes, they have to be 100% all the time. They're like a Ferrari, have to be fine-tuned. So in the athletic world, this is really embraced for everything from concussion recovery to high ankle sprains. We can get rid of those in 4 sessions to anything that's going on. So we're getting further and further along in that industry and even in the Olympic athletes. Brain balancing, it's the trinaural beats that we spoke about with the scalar wave technology. And for everybody that needs to calm their mind and enhance their intuition, and especially if you meditate, if you get on this technology and you turn on all the ancient tones and you turn on all of the chakras, and then you can turn on the brain balancing with mind expansion and scalar waves, you can go into theta in about 30 seconds. If you're not an experienced meditator, it might take you 2 minutes, but you can really do it. You just close your eyes and you, even in the middle of a busy trade show, I've seen this happen with people. They're just gone. They're in another state. Everything disappears. Veterinary medicine. This is even more effective, I believe, with animals, because animals don't have any thought process about, yes, this will work, no, this won't work. They are very instinctive, so they heal phenomenally fast with this technology. So we're actually further developing an equine line and more veterinary products for that whole industry. So, is this your vibe plate? What this is not is your mama's shaker machine. It is not a teeter-totter, and that's the kind that can actually exacerbate back issues, joint issues. I don't recommend it for anyone. And it's not a power plate. The one thing about the power plate, it is pure vertical movement, which is better than the teeter-totter effect, but it does nothing to increase cell voltage. And we actually got that from a chiropractor. She actually had a power plate and the sound machine, and she did tons of live blood cell analysis on her patients. That was just her thing. And she's the one that got a hold of us and said, you know what? There's no change before and after in the live blood cell analysis with mechanical vibration, but there's a massive change with sound vibration. So I know you know this guy probably, the one on the left, Dr. Fab. This is the one in his home. And one of our clients, there are animals on it. The couple at the bottom, they own a gym, and this is something that we're finding that's pretty easy to set up a regenerative center. We've done it for a few so far, and they have the built-in clientele, and a lot of us with practices already have a built-in clientele. So stacking modalities that are really, really effective is automatic success. So they put their system in, and their gym members absolutely love it. And a lot of things with gyms too. We have one in Canada, and he's purchased 3 of our machines and is expanding his wellness component because he's getting so many people, especially after COVID, that are so broken he can't even put them into a fitness program. So he has to do like the rehabilitation before he gets them started in a fitness program. The guy on the right, he's an Olympic athlete. He's a sprinter. And we got him on the machine because he was having back pain. When you're getting ready to go to the Olympics, that really slows you down. I mean, this is a case of a Ferrari. He has to be running in perfect order. And got rid of his back pain. He had to turn around and do a 3-hour workout that day, so we had him do the frequencies again the next day. But he's still using the technology and loves it. So I don't know if you know this guy, Dr. Jeffrey Tucker. He is the president of the American Chiropractic Association Rehab Division. He is one of the most amazing, kindest people I have ever known. And I met him at Parker 5 years ago or so, and he bought a VibraGenix and put it in his practice. And he happened to be at A Forum this year, so we got him to do a little testimonial. So I thought I'd play that for you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Jeffrey Tucker. And one of the things and the greatest joys that I get in my practice and patient experience is literally giving patients an experience. When they come into my office and they'd have had a difficult, challenging day, whether it's the environment, traffic, home life, work life, whatever it is, the very first thing I have them do is come back to use the VibraGenix device, which is a whole body vibration therapy. But it's not just that. It's so much more because it adds resonance therapy. And this is what helps create the patient experience that I really want each of my patients to have. And not only that, the owner behind this, the developer, is one of the most credible people, integrous people that we have in the profession. I love technology. I've embraced it early on. But for the last few years, whenever I needed help in knowing something above and beyond this, or stacking therapies, or have had difficult patients, I go to Dr. Carolyn Stites. And she is
He's going to make me cry.
such an amazing resource and developer of this technology. Really, in our profession and all of medicine, you're helping so many people that you don't even realize how special this device and equipment is in enhancing our patients' lives. So I just wanted to say thank you and be able to share with people that are viewing this the importance of the technology, the importance of having good people behind this for support that we may need. And in looking ahead, for me and my practice in 2024, I want to help my patients. My challenge to them is how to manage, or how to be the expert in managing your own stress. And you are expert, and your device is expert, and will be part of that strategy for me and my patients. Thank you.
Yeah, you got to see my ugly, trying not to cry face. I was not expecting that. And, I had a conversation with him after he did the testimonial. And, the A4M was 30% bigger this year. There was more medical practitioners and more exhibitors than ever before. And he said, I've walked around this place, and he is a lover of technology. I mean, this man seems like he's tried just about everything. And he said, the problem is now there's 5, 6, 9 different companies doing the same thing, making the same device, whether it's red light or PEMF or whatever it is, and they all say they're the best. He's like, how do I know? So I started vetting, because to me, integrity is everything. Most entrepreneurs, they think about margin a little bit more than I do. But if you get a good margin on a product that, like we've been vetting to be able to private label and have these centers and offer this for home and business solutions. And if you have that great margin in there, but it's not an effective product, it doesn't work for me. So I've been ordering like multiples of different things from different manufacturers, trying to figure out what the best, most effective equipment is. And that's what we put together in our regenerative centers. So I wrote this little book, The Miracle of Frequency Medicine. If you would like to download it, it is free to you. It's helping people understand kind of a overview of what frequency medicine can actually do in the body. So I made it an easy read, and hopefully you'll enjoy it, and it will clear up a few things. You got it? All right. Oh, no worries. There's no rush. Carl still has plenty of time to talk. All right. So I would like to introduce Exhibit A. He's amazing, never slows down, has more energy than me sometimes. He told me if I introduced him as Exhibit A, he was going to come up like this. And I'll let him take it from here. Unless somebody has a question.
That mic was way too short.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You want me to move it for you? I don't need competition for your voice.
I probably don't need a mic, but they want to record this. I come from the medical industry. My brother and I have a medical company. It's now the 3rd largest in the world, doing diagnosing the nervous system, and it's I'm able to step away from it now because I hired somebody that is running it better than I did. So that's awesome. I also have a couple big health clubs. We have these types of clinics in those. We actually have really expanded clinics. We have nurse practitioners and everything. We have outdoor water parks and pickleball and all that stuff you'd ever want, 140,000 square foot little tiny health club. Anyway, and she is this amazing partner for my wife and I in this business, because I know how to build things, but she is the guru on energy medicine, and it could have never happened without her. And I'm so grateful that we encountered each other. And I'm going to tell you, I was the biggest skeptic. She will tell you when she brought this technology forward, I thought it was snake oil or whatever else you want to call it. And then she finally says, Carl, put this, and brought one up to my house, put it in the house, and says, use it. Well, it's not too soon after that, I tore a rotator cuff, water skiing, and they said surgery. And I said, well, time out. I got this funny machine at the house. I'm going to try it first. Is it okay? And he says, oh, you got... Anyway, 2 months later, I had full rotation and no pain and no surgery. It took me another 2 months to get my full strength back because I had muscle atrophy, dysatrophy. That's another problem. I used to have dyslexia, but I'm KO now. Anyway, but I had another aha moment, and I came down about a year and a half ago with prostate cancer because my PSA jumped. All the women know what PSA is. This is a prostate serum antigen, but it's one of the ones they monitor, and mine jumped from the mid-2s to the 4.8, and I had the MRI done, and I had one tumor in there that was 1.8 centimeters, and two small ones were 5 and 6 millimeters. 3 months later, and I did nothing, right, except go on a whole routine. I alkalized my body. I went on VibraGenix using prostate cancer frequencies. I was already using VibraGenix, by the way. I just added prostate cancer frequencies. I added supplements that were specific for prostate health and did a few other things, but nothing that would be in the traditional treatment of prostate cancer. 3 months later, my PSA dropped to 1.1. I just had it done a few months ago. It's now 0.4. And the two small tumors just disappeared. You can't find them anymore. The big one is at 1.1 centimeters. It has not gone down for a while. It looks like I'm going to live with that one forever, but who knows? I don't really care because I'm doing awesome. Had nothing doing. It hasn't even affected my life one bit. Anyway, I thought I'd share that with you just as what I'm doing, but I got some questions to ask. Okay. How many of you want to be doing this when you're 80? Oh, yeah, I am. Okay, actually, this was done last fall when I was 79. So I think when I go back, it's going to be warm enough. I'll be jumping in the river and going skiing when I get back, and I still do this. And I love doing it. So this is what we really want. Everybody should end up like this. So this is more than energy. It's total lifestyle from the beginning. Years ago, I went sugar-free. In fact, when I was in my 20s, I went sugar-free. I said, this stuff can't be good for you. I went grain-free about 15, 20 years ago, okay? Because I said, I just was reading about this, and I knew I couldn't digest it, okay? And I'm not gluten intolerant. It's just that we don't digest it well. We don't have 5 stomachs, which is what cows have, okay? So I had a lot of things going for me. How many want to live a pain-free life and have full cognition? I don't hurt anywhere. I play all these sports all the time. I have no joints that hurt. I also didn't play football, okay? I think there's a few things like that can give you trouble, but I don't. And, I read all the time. I study all the time. But so many people have, like Caroline talked about, knee pain and back pain. And how many of you have ever had an acute back spasm? You know what I'm talking about? You bend over to pick up something and you can't straighten up because it's gone into spasm, right? What do? You go to the chiropractor, can't adjust it, right? You go to the doctor, they give you pain meds or muscle relaxants or both. We have a technique using this energy stuff. We'll have you 80 to 100% pain-free in 45 minutes. That's the difference between traditional kinds of approaches and what you can do with energy medicine. Injury recovery. How many have sprained an ankle? Yeah, if you play sports, you do stuff like this. I've sprained ankles, I sprained knees. We can get people back playing their sport usually in 3 to 5 days, okay? It's usually 6 weeks or 3 weeks minimum if you have a mild sprain. And that's the kind of thing that you can do over and over. We had an athlete come into a conference that we were attending. He just kind of limped in. He was with his coach. And he was supposed to go to the football confab where they, measure you and find out if you're going to play pro and stuff. We put him on the VibraGenix twice a day for the 2 days that he was there. And he injured it on a Tuesday, he pulled a hamstring on a Tuesday. Friday, he flew out to the combine and ran the second fastest time in the combine. That's what we're talking about, recovery at light speed, or the speed of sound. Maybe I should say it'd be better off than that, okay? So, we don't want to decline. A lot of people want to lose weight. There's some great meds that help them, and we actually participate in that. You don't have to pay $1,000 or $1,200 a month. There's some great ones that are the same exact thing you can get for $300 a month, and we make those available. Use it very often. We have equipment that helps slim you up, shape you up, build muscle. It's the things that people need to do, and sometimes they'll do. The other question I have, how many of you are passionate about making a difference in the health of others? That is my passion. That is the thing I live for. I've done that all my life. I still do that. All my businesses are centered that way, but I love business too, okay? And I've developed ways in which I can make money living in my passion, which is even better yet. And that's what we do. So what we did is we put together, and I think you got the little handout, and she went over in the slides up here. There's a couple of things that you can do. We will help you design and build your own wellness regenerative center, okay? We've done it. We know how to do it. We've done it for other people, and we do it makes a difference. But you got to know, does it work financially? So this is what it takes. So if you set up a regenerative system, a regenerative center, you got to know that you have enough income and stuff to do that. So if you get 150 people enrolled in your center, and you charge about $200 a month, which is really inexpensive for this kind of stuff, okay? For example, the red light laser or green laser, red light beds are typically $100 a session. Green lasers are 12 sessions for $3,400, okay? And that's part of the deal, okay? You just get this done. We do charge $50 or $100, whatever you think is right for the green light laser, or the emerald laser, I guess we're supposed to call it. We have these things. These places run on their own almost. We have one person that has to be there when they're there. There needs to be one manager that's out there basically recruiting and taking videos and testimonials and posting them and doing these kinds of things. We know how to start up businesses. We know what mailers you have to send out. We know where to place these, unless you already have a facility. And we've been really successful at doing this in health clubs. Of course, I know health club business intimately, but they already have space. You just have to reallocate it and put one of these in. So the gross profit is about $4,800 for those of you who are into accounting. That's the way they do it. And the expenses are about $29,000, and that is an all-in expense where you're going out leasing space and hiring all the people. It's not like a health club, which has almost no expenses to do this, for example. But the net income in that case is about $24,000 a month, and it's about $219,000 a year, and that is the wrong net income. I thought I changed this slide, and they went back and pulled up an older slide because I had changed this. It's $219 is the annual income, not the monthly income is not correct on this slide. I apologize. But the ROI from 150 clients, can you read that? I just about can't, is 200, well, if you're going to invest somewhere between 200 and 350,000 to get into this, okay? That's what those numbers are. I didn't realize it was so bad. So that number down there is 150 clients, 200 to 350,000. It depends upon how big you want to go into this. And your return on investment is somewhere around 8 months to 14. It's actually 19 months. This is an older slide too. They redid the slide set this morning and pulled up an older slide set. So I apologize. My bad. I didn't look at it before we got in here. So anyway, what can we do to help you make this a reality? First of all, we can be your consultant, okay? So, and we'll gladly do that. we can customize it for your business, which we do. We're not married to all the equipment that we have. If you have other equipment that you want or some of it that you don't want of ours, we're flexible. We'll just make it work for you. We'll put together a pro forma that's yours. That's a financial pro forma that tells you how to do that. That's the one you can take to the bank kind of thing. We'll give you a marketing model, how to market this, how to do pre-market, and then opening, grand opening, how to do this, and the launch it has. We expect you to come to our facility in Richland, Washington, and you'll spend a week there, and we're going to train you on all this stuff to do. I think that Caroline probably lost you. It says, how do I do all those things and all that stuff? In a week, you'll know how to do all those things and all that stuff, okay? It is somewhat rocket science, but it's not total out there rocket science. If you understand the fundamentals, you'll do awesome with it. And so we'll provide the training. We have an incredible number of protocols. You have somebody who walks in with post-concussive syndrome. You know what that is? That's the football player that is not playing football, but his brain is always going downhill. That was actually my first client, okay? It was a friend of mine. He was our pastor's son. He played pro football, quarterback. His cognitive scores, if he dropped one more point, he wouldn't have been able to communicate verbally. He was no longer able to work. And I said, okay, let's just start. And I just started adding one modality after another, after another, after another, until, I was researching what we're supposed to do with these kinds. And in a couple months' time, he was back cognitively. He started doing his programming again. He was creating advertising videos, doing better and better. He took himself off seizure meds because he no longer needed them, wasn't having seizures anymore. And he continued getting better and better. He is now running his own business and doing awesome in life. Another employee of her husband, wouldn't come in, and he killed himself. Another pro football player. Just tears me up. Shouldn't happen. Protocols. Yeah, we'll help you with your website and the information. We have management software that you'll need to run this kind of thing, and you won't have to search for it. We'll suggest one you should use. We have weight loss pharmaceuticals if you want to do that. I'm talking the semaglutides and those kinds of things, but you also should use a muscle enhancement with it at the same time. Otherwise, you lose fat and muscle. We'd like to keep some of that muscle and just lose the fat. So anyway, this is what we're doing. If you want to have a business plan and you'll be working with me, scan that one and set up a call with me, and we'll start through it, and we'll customize it for you, what you want to do. Okay, future medicine. Here I am. How am I doing on time? Am I okay? I don't see him throwing up the clock yet. Okay. Oh, this is our contact, all of our contact slides. So that's all I have to say. I'm right on time. Do you want to say something else, Caroline? She always does. Questions?
Okay, I did want to say that we have a number of these pieces of equipment that we'll be setting up first thing in the morning. So the med bed, a couple of our VibraGenix machines, some EMS, some various things that you can come and experience for yourself. Even brought the emerald green laser. If you want to bury your tummy, we might do that.
No burying the butts.
No burying the butts.
Yes, you had a question. Right.
So this, my understanding from what we saw, hones in on healing that area, focusing on the satellite cells and everything in between, and going towards the bone, the soft tissue, as well as the autoimmune tissue as well, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
It covers all,
Everything.
and including the chakras.
Oh, yes, and the ancient tones. Huh?
Which is
Better than doing stem cells. The one thing I forgot to really touch on was the peptides. So we are connected with someone that has Dr. Kavanaugh's research in Russia. Russia's decades ahead of us in peptides. Peptides, bioregulators, they're using those and have been using those to repair things like we're using stem cells, right? They take this, peptides in protein are really long, 1,000 amino acids long. Then there's shorter peptides, and one of these is the semaglutide, Ozempic, that kind of thing. There are a lot of others for longevity, for reversing leaky gut, for all kinds of things. And then there's bioregulators that are even shorter, sometimes only 4 or 5 amino acids long. And they are in such short chains, they go right to the problem. So if it's macular degeneration or whatever, they go and help repair the eyes. So that is something we're integrating along with some dietary protocols, which I can't ignore diet just because of my master's in nutrition. It's just so important. But also the other thing we're looking at is, well, it's being brought in as well, is methylated supplements, because there's so many methylation issues in the population genetically. And if you're taking a supplement and you can't absorb the B12, folic acid, whatever it is, it throws everything off in the body, because all our B vitamins work together for every enzymatic reaction. So
Even if someone had prediabetes and those tripeptides come into play to balance it out somehow, you'd be able to possibly prevent having to go to those.
So with diabetes, prediabetes, all of the sound frequency medicine, there are specialized formulas to help stabilize the blood sugar. With hypertension, brings the blood pressure down. There are all these formulas. I call it my frequency medicine cabinet. It really is. I use it for everything. I don't go and, take something for a migraine or a headache or whatever it is. I use the frequencies for that, whether it's insomnia or whatever you're trying to do. I think adding in really cutting edge peptides that somebody is 25 years ahead of us on doing the research, I think is a very synergistic combination. But definitely come see us tomorrow. We're out in the lobby, and try some of our toys.
She mentioned the methylation chain. There's 49% of the population has MTHFR deficiency. That's the base root of the methylation chain, and they ought to be on it. It costs $16 a month to solve it. You buy it at Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Actually,
it's more than that.
Dr. Story actually thinks it's 85% of the population has methylation issues of one kind or another. We're just not testing for them all. So taking supplements and methylated, it's just so important. We had a quick story. It wasn't my client, it was another naturopath I know. But she had a guy that 2 years of arrhythmias, right? And he found it out. He's super healthy, played golf, he did all of his stuff. We're almost there, right? I have to stop. Okay, sorry.
Stop.
But it ended up being a B2 deficiency, and he'd gone through surgery and lots of meds, and it was just a vitamin B2 deficiency. He couldn't absorb. So anyway, there you go. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.